Welcome to One Tired Teacher, episode 126. 5 captivating themes for your end of the year bonanza. Oh my goodness, getting to the end of the year can be such a mixture of feelings. I know as a teacher, I would feel anxiety or overwhelm for all the work that I had left to do and all the tasks that are required at the end of the year. Oh, so many things. Or I would feel frustrated over the behavior that my students were displaying because it's like they all of a sudden forgot the procedures and routines, or they all of a sudden forgot everything that we learned. That used to make me crazy. I know that I also sometimes would feel like this heavy sadness as the days were counting down and I was going to lose another classroom family. And some years I was feeling a great deal of relief because I was ready for the year to be over and I saw a new environment coming in the future. So it can really be just a mixture of feelings. But one thing that can help is having a captivating theme so that you can really end that year off just right and you can get rid of some of those feelings of overwhelm and frustration and anxiety. So that's what we're going to talk about today. You're going to want to stick around because I have some ideas on how you can use a theme to really captivate your end of the year. Hope you stick around.
Welcome to One Tired Teacher. And even though she may need a nap, this teacher is ready to wake up and speak her truth about the trials and treasures of teaching. Here she is, wide awake. Wait, she's not asleep right now, is she? She is awake, right? Okay. From Trina Debery Teaching and Learning, your host, Trina Debery.
Hey, so we have gotten to the end of the year. Can you believe it? It's really crazy. And I want to talk to you a little bit about doing some themes at the end of the year, or a theme, not some themes, doing a theme at the end of the year. Now, last week on episode 125, how elementary school teachers survive the end of the year, we talked a little bit about this. So if you want to check that out, that episode, I'll link to it in the show notes. It's 125, episode 125. But I wanted to go a little bit deeper into themes and what you could do with a theme and why you might want to do a theme. So let's talk about why, because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, is she crazy? Like, I'm already overwhelmed with all the things that I have to do at the end of the year. Report cards, cumes, placement cards, so many tasks, like end of the year checkoff lists. Oh, goodness gracious. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot, but there is a reason to do a theme because, you need the time. You need to be able to do those activities at school and not have to take everything home and have the whole entire month of May or June or whatever, whenever your end of the year is, have it be all school related. I mean, Mother's Day, for goodness sakes, is when I'm recording this, it will have been, or when it comes out, have been yesterday. So Mother's Day was yesterday. And I hope you didn't have to work the whole entire day. And sometimes I feel like we have to when we have all this. But if we do themes and we have activities for each subject, enough activities that kids can be independent, we get some work time. We actually can work at work. I know. Isn't that crazy? Actually working at work? I know. So that's why I love to do a theme. It gives you time to work. It gives the kids activities and lessons and things and you're not really teaching anything. This is all review. These are all review types of lessons, things that will help them be stronger in the standards that you were supposed to teach. Now, I just had a conversation with some second grade teachers this week, and we were talking about how they were doing this whole, last couple of weeks, they were focusing on things to get the kids ready for third grade. And I just get so irritated by this. This makes me so mad. It used to make me mad when I was teaching as well, because I felt like you want me to start teaching third grade standards in second grade when they haven't even, they're not solid in the second grade standards. And this year, they're even less because they missed so much school last year. So give me a chance to actually send them to you knowing everything they're supposed to know in second grade. Then they'll be ready for third grade. I'm going to start teaching third grade and second grade. It just, I don't know. Sometimes I don't understand this kind of thinking. I could go on a tangent on this. I'm not going to. I'm just going to say, as a second grade teacher, I care more that the first graders know how to add, how to subtract, how to read fluently, how to understand text. I understand more that they're well versed in the first grade standards, and then I'll take it from there. I don't need you to start teaching second grade. So that's just something that I felt as a teacher, and I just feel like we mess this up sometimes. And it's not. I don't even think it's teachers. I think it's districts that are like, oh, at the end of the year we're going to start the next year. It makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense, especially this year when they lost some time and we're basically playing catch up in 1 year. So I feel like they need to be solid in the standards that we were supposed to have taught all year, and that we don't really stop doing that yet. Now, if your class is ready, then move along a little bit. But anyway, so there's not really any reteaching at the end of the year. This is basically you're reviewing. You're doing a lot of reviewing. So if they're working on activities like that, I think that's great. They're learning, they're engaged, and if you make it fun, they're engaged. It takes so much pressure off of you. It actually makes your life so much easier. The first time I ever did a theme and unit, like at the end of the year, I did a camp theme with my second graders. It was so fun. I was like, this is the way I want to end the year every year. Not only was it learning, I got all the time back that I needed to get all my tasks done. And then on top of that, we had a really good time. We enjoyed one another. We didn't like mope around that it was the end, and we didn't like go, oh, I can't wait for it to be over. None of that. It was just being in the moment and really enjoying your class. It was so worth it. Okay, so let me talk about some themes that you can do. Oh, another reason, let me just say this really fast. Another reason why you might want to consider a theme is, and if you have all these activities for every subject throughout the day, you can kind of treat it like, if during our camp, we're going to do a reader's theater, and then we're going to do like an ad libs kind of writing activity, and then we're going to do camp math, and then we're going to do like quicksand in science, and we're going to do we're going to make a camp t-shirt for like a social studies community building kind of activity. And so you can have this list of activities, and you can have kids like working towards that. Like they automatically are going to every activity. But when behavior starts to be kind of iffy, and we know that can happen at this time of year, then, are you not going to be able to participate in one of these activities? Now, this is where I want to caution you, because I think it's really hard when you take things away from kids and they're left with no motivation to change their behavior. And also, it's very hurtful and upsetting to kids to lose out on things like that. Now, I never took away like academics, so they would be able to do activities. They just couldn't do them sometimes with the rest of the group. And I would create like a success spot. But this is the thing I want you to be careful of. If you're going to take away, you want to make it really fluid. Allow them to earn it back. They have to have like a superior above and beyond day the next day. And if they do, they earn it back, and make a big deal out of anything they do right. Anything. If they even have a little bit of a better day, throw them a bone, because then you're going to start to see a change in their behavior. They're actually going to continue to do better. It was a really rare that kids lost a lot of things. Maybe they lost the first thing and they had to sit out while we were starting the reader's theater, and then they would be like, oh man, and they had to like read over in another area by themselves. So they were still reading, but they weren't participating. And then they started to think, oh, I don't want to lose out on another activity. And so then they got, they did better. And I didn't have them lose the whole day. It was like one activity. So if there were 4 or 5 activities that day, and they lost one of them, they still had the other activities to do. And so it worked really well. It worked really well, because then they would show like excellent behavior, and I would give them an activity back. And so for every activity I took away, I allowed them to get it back with really good behavior. and you just want to keep it fluid. So just be careful of that, because it sometimes will go against you. Take everything away from them. There's no reason for them to change their behavior. And you've just made it terrible for them and terrible for yourself. So just keep that in mind. All right, here's some really fun themes that you can do. If you're thinking, I don't even know what themes I would do. Well, one of my favorites, like I said, is the camp theme. I love doing the camp theme. You can get a tent in your room. You can, maybe hang some stars from the ceiling. You can do a pretend fire pit like in the middle of your classroom. You can do like silent reading with flashlights. That doesn't cost anything, and that is, you don't have to buy anything. You just are, spending some time reading, and that's one of my favorites. So I love camp. Also, a surf theme is really fun, like doing a luau theme, or, having like getting those cheap leis from, Oriental Trading, or things like that. Or a sports theme. That's super fun too. You're just bringing in some different balls, or you're putting up your Gator stuff, or whatever sports team you root for, and you're going to do a sports theme at the end of the year. Or it could be a Western theme, and you get like those sawhorses. Was that what they're called? Sawhorse? I think that's it. And cowboy hats and things like that. That would be fun for a Western theme, like a hoedown. And then my other favorite theme is the superhero theme. I think that is so, so fun. I love to do anything that has to do with superheroes. So that is just one thing, some themes that you can think about doing. But I also want to tell you some fun ways that you can really carry these themes throughout the week. So like I said, you want to do it with all of the subjects covered. Now, I have this for you. So if you are like, I don't want to think about all the things that I would have to do for reading and writing and math and science and social studies, and I've done this for all those themes that I just mentioned, for Western, camp, superheroes, sports, surfs up. It's surfing into summer. It's like, they're so fun. And I've done every subject. There's 5 days of math. There's 5 days of writing. There's 5 days of reading. There's science and social studies. Now, on some of those, I've done like a mixture of like a couple days of science and a couple days of social studies. I've also included a memory book inside of the units. Now, I told you I was going to give you a free memory book, and I am. But if you get a unit, you'll have the memory book in there for you. But I'm also giving you the memory book all by itself on its own. Now, the memory book and the units are not so you can just fold and cut. You actually have to cut them and staple them, because I didn't do that in the units, but I did do that for the freebie. So you could like interchange that. Anyway, so they're just one of my favorite things. So what you do, but you could do, again, you could do your own activities. You could think of what you're going to do, 5 days of reading and 5 days of writing. And what I like to do is have all those things planned so that they become like a thing that we're actually doing. So one of the activities that they do is the reader's theater. So I have a reader's theater for the camp one, for the surf one, for the Western one, for the superheroes, and the sports. I think I have one for the sports. And then in some of them I have some little readers, and those are really fun to do. And then for writing, we always do like a book review, or we do a Mad Libs kind of activity where they have to like come up with adjectives and nouns and whatever for like this little camp story or superhero story. And then you have them brainstorm some adjectives. And that's one where you might have to help a little bit, because they still have kind of a hard time, especially in second grade. They still have kind of a hard time coming up with those things. And then you put them in, and then you read it it becomes this crazy story with the funny words that they came up with. And that's really fun. And sometimes that one needs help, but then like a book review doesn't, because you have them write out things that they liked about a book and why they would recommend it to somebody else. And then the second day you have them create a commercial, and you use, technology, and you record it. And now they're working on that, and they're practicing it, and then they're recording it, and they're doing all of that by themselves with very little direction from you while you're off in the corner getting all of the things done that you need to get done. So that's the win-win. And then in like math, I created a game where they're racing across the camp or lights out, and they are playing like this addition and subtraction game, and they can play it over and over again. Another day is like math or camp word problems, and another one is like just addition and subtraction practice with camp pictures, and that is really fun. And then for science, they might do the quicksand, or they might do a map where they create like a campsite. And there's just so many. One of my favorite activities is creating a t-shirt, and you can do that without even having the unit. You could create your own activities, and one of them could be to create a camp shirt or a cape or a Western, like a vest or something like that. I think that would be fun. So it really can be like such a great experience in the classroom. One of the things that you can do as an activity is have like game time, and you can call it like hee-haw game playing or whatever, or superhero gameplay, or I don't know, and something like that. And it could be really fun. And then you could have a silent reading time. And if you were doing camp, you could do like a flashlights in the dark, or you could even do that for superheroes or Western. You could play some music that went along with the theme. Like if you were doing the Surf's Up one, you might play like some Beach Boy music or something like that. And that could make it more like theme-like. And you can always add in silent reading for, 30 to 40 minutes if you've been working on that. Hopefully you have, because it's important for them to sustain reading. And you can do that, and that gives you another amount of time to get stuff done. Because the goal for Theme Week is to have plenty of activities and to keep kids highly engaged and super, super busy. And this really, it helps. It helps eliminate behavior. And like I said, it can be used as an incentive. The other goal is to keep kids learning until the end. And that is helpful. Now they go on and they've like refined their skills in addition and subtraction. They've done a lot of writing, but they've done it in a fun way. They might write a letter to the next year's teacher. They could even write a letter to the kids coming in and tell them what it's like in second grade or first grade or whatever grade you're in. I think those are so fun to read. And it makes it so much more fun. They're also having such a fun time. I love to make ice cream in the Western theme. That's fun. We've made capes in the superhero theme. We've done t-shirts in the camp theme. So doing a theme at the end of the year really brought me some much needed time and a lot of joy. Yes, there's some setup, and you could use parents in the future. You probably can't use them right now, because they probably can't come into your school, but eventually they'll be able to, and you can get some help with that. But it doesn't have to be crazy. It can just be the activities that's the theme like. It really keeps the kids engaged, learning, and having so much fun. All right. I hope you enjoyed your year-end bonanza with a theme, or I hope you're going to, because I'm telling you, it makes such a huge difference. Plus, you've got all your activities set. You've got yourself ready to go. You've just bought yourself some time. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. And also let me know about your end of the year stories. I'd love to hear them. I love to read how it's going at the end of the year for teachers, because it can be so crazy. And also grab your memory book at TrinaDeberyTeachingandLearning.com/memory. And remember to leave a comment. All right, guys, this one tired teacher is, oh my goodness, we're so ready for the summer. Until next time, sweet dreams and sleep tight.